Oh, there we go. Okay. So, inverse operations to show the work. That's the difference between the middle and high. Let's look at the difference between the middle and low. What is the difference between the middle and low?
Should I look at low number 2 or low number 1?
Either one.
They weren't. Oh, can we add something else?
Yeah.
Like just subtracting across zeros, knowing
Okay.
that you have to go and borrow before you can get.
So when you subtract
Right, you can't.
across a 0, it becomes a 9.
Right.
That's a great pickup. Okay.
So they missed the ball on that. Like they didn't go and borrow from that too, and that's where they messed up. So they just didn't fill it out. And I think even if they did it up here, it would be a better visual if they did the H.
So what you're saying is they should be showing. So they should be showing both.
I think showing that would help our lower kids.
And that could be something that comes up when we talk about our reteach plan.
Okay.
Okay. So then what do we do? What's the difference between the high and the low? Let's choose low 1 for instance.
They didn't borrow anything, so I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I guess they were. It looks like they were subtracting from the number on the bottom. That's what they did, which is not right. And then they switched it back up when they got to the hundreds place. So they're not. It's not registering to them. You cannot subtract this larger number from that smaller number. You have to go next door and borrow, and then you have to go next door again because you can't borrow from nothing. So.
Okay. The next door. What do we think we can use instead of next door? Let's put this in like mathematical terms.
So they have to borrow from. You can't subtract your ones and borrow from your tens.
Yes.
And then it goes to your hundreds.
Yeah.
You have to go back to your tens and then to your ones.
Yes. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a reteach plan. So based on the data, what is it in your notes? What do you think that? Do you think this is a discourse, or do you think this is just a straight model reteach?
Can you tell me more about what you mean by discourse?
It's like the discourse that we did like the last time, where you like showed 2 examples and kids were able to like talk about which one was right and which one was wrong, and then do some practice. Or do you think this is like you need to specifically model?
I think I need to specifically model, especially for my lower kids. Like I don't know if I need to do it in like a small group, but I think definitely need to reteach and model for my lower kids.
So what I'm hearing you say is that subtraction in itself isn't the problem. Specifically, what is the problem?
Seems like knowing I feel like they understand.
So they can subtract. If you give them 2 numbers, they can subtract them, any 2 numbers. So they knew that 5 minus 6 was 1, even though it's technically negative 1. But they understood like the math of it.
Okay.
Right? And so like, what specifically about the low kids is the problem? Like, what specific skill? It's not just subtracting. Like, if they were given 299 minus 186, do you think that they could have done that?
Yes.
Okay, so where's the gap?
Maybe I don't know how to form it into words. Just knowing that you can't, like, okay, well, yes, with negative numbers, but like you can't subtract. Pretty much, I guess, regrouping.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, you can't subtract that 6 from that 5, so you have to know what to do after that.
Perfect. So what I'm thinking about for the reteach is, why don't we just focus on the skill of regrouping and not actually have them subtract?
Okay.
And let's take a bunch of subtraction problems and create a bunch of subtraction problems. Let's probably start without zeros and then add zeros to it. And let's say, I only want you to borrow. That's it. And that's all you're checking for. I don't even want you to subtract. Don't even give them space to subtract. And then maybe have an HTO chart next to it and say, show in the HTO chart, borrow. Show in the HTO chart, borrow. How do you feel about that?
I like it. I think that would be helpful. And then even if you had like something they could actually hold, because we do have like those little manipulatives, I think that would be helpful too.
Yeah. So, and this is going to be something that we're going to have to spiral through. Like, it's going to be, like, let's name it. Like, let's take 5 minutes and you'll do, like, 1 or 2 examples with them and in front of them and let them do, like, 2 or 3 and then, like, put one on their homework every night or put one on their like quiet time work or whatever, so that like you can see a progression. Put one on like a continual exit ticket, just like a quick check, like where are we, and it'll be cool to like see if you can if when we come back in our next O3 next week and see like if we give kids this exact same problem, what percent, because right now we're really low. Like if we can get above 50% of kids to be able to do it with the 0 and have them have the HTO chart there. What are you thinking?
That sounds good.
So let's actually do this right now. Let's create a progression of problems for, we can just hand write them out that you are going to that you're going to do with your kids tomorrow.
Okay.
To reteach. What skill are we reteaching?
Regrouping.
That's it. Right? We're not teaching how to resubtract, regroup. So I'm going to pause the video and we're going to create those questions.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see what we got. Okay, so it looks like you do really want to hit the 0 at the end. Like you really do. Yeah, that seems like, and then in the know and show, like that was really clear too. And in this problem, that's what tripped a lot of kids up. And I think that's great. I think that being the third problem, you might have the kids who got it right or in the high and the middle, actually like struggle through that one and maybe like then realize like, oh, I really need to use these strategies because more higher middle kids tend not to use the HTO chart as much.
Right.
I really like that a lot. So it looks like you have 3 questions and they're going to do that you guys are going to do together. How many are they going to do on their own?
2.
2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then how are you going to check, and when we meet next week, how are you going to ensure that more than 50% of your kids have mastered this?
I liked your suggestion about the homework.
Are you going to Johnson?
Definitely going to add a problem next to their homework. Also making sure that like I've also like when I've done observations in other classrooms, I like when teachers will do a problem like completely wrong and see if they can point out what the mistake is. So I think I want to do that as well during morning work. So I think that'll help as well. Like the more practice they'll get, I think they'll be able to get there.
Okay. And how are you going to measure this?
I guess making sure, like, how will I grade it to make sure they mastered it?
Yeah, or how are kids? Like, how are you your kids? We just talked about how much they love data. Like, you're so good at displaying data in your classroom. Are you going to show them the low percentage of them that are able to subtract with borrowing and like make it a competition? Are you going to display a data?
I think so, because they do like a little competition. And then like, so I guess back on that same board where I have my exit ticket scores, I'll place Eagles under, I guess, who did it correctly, who checked their work, who did all the strategies they needed to do to fix it, compared to the ones who might not get a perfect score because they might have like missed one little detail.
So we're looking for 3 components.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for them to have checked their work.
Yes.
Well, first of all, we're looking for them to have borrowed correctly.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
Yes.
Then we're looking for them to have an HTO chart.
Yes. A visual.
The visual.
Or something. Mm-hmm.
And then we're looking for them to use inverse operations to add, to check their work.
Yes.
Those are the 3 things you're looking for in your reteach and for kids to do every time they subtract.
Right.
Sounds perfect. I'm excited to see it.
Cool.
Thanks for meeting with me, Ms. Thurman.
Thank you.